I'm $1 million in debt, but I wish I was more. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rios to Riches, also known as Chris Rios. I'm over $1 million in debt. I have over $300,000 in credit cards alone. And today, I'm going to be going over every single stupid question I've ever been asked about credit. And trust me, I get a lot of fucking ridiculous questions.
Used to spend my nights out in barbers.
Question number 1. Why do you think credit and debt is a subject a lot of people avoid talking about? Honestly, I think a lot of people avoid talking about credit and debt because it's a coping mechanism for their ignorance. There's like a negative stigma behind debt. So because of the negative stigma behind debt, people think that if you're in debt, you're broke as fuck, when that's not really the case. Like, there's a reason why millionaires, billionaires as well, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, etc., are billions of dollars in debt, and the biggest companies in the world accrue billions of dollars in debt. It's because it helps them make money. And it's public information. You can search it up and they have no problem talking about it. Then you see outlets like Mark Cuban and fucking Dave Ramsey. And them motherfuckers are talking about, oh, credit cards and debt will make you rich. But at the same time, the businesses that they own have debt. Make it make sense. Question number 2. What's the worst business mistake you've ever made? I guess more of a personal than a business one, but at the end of the day, the effect was the same. I crashed my mom's car when I had an active debt on it. And I got that shit totaled. And I was broke as fuck. So I couldn't afford to fix the car and to pay off the loan. So we had to mark it as a total loss. My mom had to take like a hit on her credit because I had to pay it all in full, but I didn't really have money. So I had to learn how to fix her own credit and then come up with money myself to fix damages, which is honestly a pretty stressful point in my life, but it was the worst decision ever because I was doing things I couldn't afford to do and I had to learn the hard way. And my mom was pissed. Question number 3. How did I get rid of debt? That's a very tricky question because banks don't fucking play. They're gonna do whatever the fuck they gotta do to get their money back. But the good thing is, on your guys' side, there are laws that the banks have to abide by. And these are the FCRA laws and multiple other laws. If they choose to do things in an unethical manner, you can actually use that against them to legally remove your debt from your credit report. But again, certain circumstances come into play. If you know how to bend these rules in your favor, then you can literally remove anything from your credit report. Yes! Fucking asshole. Question number 4. How can I remove student loans off my credit report? So to remove student loans off your credit report is actually very easy. Just see what guidelines they are violating and you can get it removed from your credit report. But disclaimer, if you choose to do that, you still have to pay back that loan because as I mentioned before, banks don't fucking play. If you remove the loan, which you can, from your credit report, that doesn't mean that you are not obligated to pay the loan. The loan is still yours to pay. It is just going to be hidden from your credit report. So other creditors, when they look at your credit report, won't see that you have that active debt. Question number 5. How can I get approved for a credit card? So to get approved for a credit card, it's actually very simple. Number 1, you need to have a 720 credit score minimum. You can get away with 700 actually. Less than 10% utilization reported under your credit report. Less than 2 hard inquiries in the last 6 months and have no negative items. So no bankruptcies, no collections, no late payments, anything under your credit report. If you have all that criteria, then honestly, it'll be pretty easy to apply for a credit card because banks only want to work with people who show that they are profitable. And if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, I made a video that explains this on my YouTube channel called How to Actually Get a Perfect Credit Score. Question number 6. How can I get approved for a car I've been denied for? To get approved for a car you've been denied for, it's actually pretty easy. You go look at your report from Experian or Credit Karma, it's completely free to download, and you see what negative items are hurting your score. Those platforms are free, they have a pretty good user experience. You can actually just log in, search it up, and it'll tell you exactly what's hurting your score. What a lot of people do wrong is they go into these dealerships or fill out a credit application, and they don't even know what's on their report. So they get blindsided when they fill out a credit application and the fucking dealership looks at you like a fucking broke fuck and they tell you, shit, you can't get approved for this loan or we're going to give you a 17% interest on this fucking car.
And how much are you paying per month?
$500.
$500. How long are you financing for?
For life.
For life. That's what I'm talking about.
And people, because of their ignorance, don't really understand that an extra 90 days, if they choose to fix their credit, can get it fixed and then come back and get the rate cut in half, all right? And which saves them a lot of money. But most people don't want to do that shit. Most people want to be ignorant. And that's the reason why credit has a bad debt. Why is my credit important? Holy fuck, they really just asked me this? Credit is important because it is literally the heart and soul of the American economy. The United States economy runs on debt. Everything is debt. You get a mortgage, it is debt. You get a car, it is debt. You get a fucking credit card, it is debt. The average American, is a real stat, is about $106,000 in debt. The average American. So we're accounting for every single person in the United States that is billions of dollars in debts. The government prints money every fucking day, and a lot of it is debt. Again, search it up. The United States is $36 trillion in debt. What is powering the debt? Credit. Credit is literally debt. But the problem with most Americans is they are using debt to get broke. Well, the 1% are using debt to get rich. Even politicians, even our own economy, United States, we accrue debt because it makes us money, right? So why is credit important? Because everything requires debt. You go get a loan from the bank, that's credit. You go get a house, that's credit. You get a car, that's also credit. Everything that contributes to the American dream is literally just debt. So why is credit important? Good luck getting a fucking house, a car, a job, or even fucking applying for a basic bank account. Literally, your credit is like your street cred in the finance industry. Question number 8. What if I mess up and ruin my credit? Well, honestly, a lot of people think they're really fucked if they messed up their credit. I ruined mine as well. But as long as you know exactly what you can and can't remove from your credit report, you can bend the rules in your favor and make a fucking comeback of dreams. So, long story short, I fucked up my credit as well. I got into a lot of debt. I wiped it off clean, I made some money, and now I started from scratch, and I have over $300 in credit. Same thing for a lot of people. I have a lot of clients who I've helped restore their credit. I've literally restored some guy who was like at 550. He's back at like 750 now. Literally in just like 6 months. Some credit takes 90 days, some credit takes 6 months, but if you just know the rules of the game, it's for sure less than a year. Question number 9, is cash better than credit? I hate social media, bro, because I see a bunch of rappers and a bunch of like wannabe entrepreneurs flex cash, but the real flex is credit. And like, it's kind of common sense. When people flex cash, people think you're rich, right? But for a lot of people, they work for cash, and they can only make $10,000, $20,000, or $50,000 in savings. But with credit, you can get that with an 800 credit score. You have no income, and you can get like 50 bands off the bank within like 24 hours. And if you do it well, and you position yourself correctly, you can even get 100K and 200K, so on and so forth. So why is that? Your credit score is basically just another way that they give you street cred, but in finance, right? So if you have good street cred with finance, right, in this case with the banks, they will give you more money than you can ever accrue in cash. In my opinion, I think credit is better than cash, but a lot of people will say otherwise because, again, they want to pretend to be smart or they want to pretend to be rich, but they don't really know what actually makes the rich rich. So question number 10, how do I turn credit into cash without getting in trouble? So you can do it off 2 ways. Number 1 is you could run a business, right, in which you invest your credit into your business. And when you sell the specific item from your business, then you recoup the cash from the client. Or you can do something called manufactured spending. So manufactured spending is used not only by people who don't own a business, business owners use this as well. But manufactured is basically a technique in which you trick the banks into thinking that you are spending money, but you're converting the credit into cash. So a way to do this is you go to a grocery store, you get like $1,000 in prepaid Visa gift cards. You buy them using your credit, you take those prepaid Visa gift cards with $1,000 in them, and you go to a money order. You go place a money order, you go to like a Western Union, place a money order. When you place a money order, they're gonna ask for the form of deposit, and the deposit is going to be the prepaid Visa gift cards. So essentially what they do is they give you a check for $1,000, and a check can easily just be deposited into your bank account. So in this case, you just take the funds, and you pay back your balance from your credit card statement, and then you can either keep the points, keep the cash back, or turn cash into credit without actually paying cash advance fees. And you might be asking, why don't I just go to the ATM and withdraw cash with my credit? The problem with that is they charge you 28% fees off the rip. So for every $100, that's a 28% interest. So you pay additional $28 for the $100 that you borrow. So this is a way that you can avoid that while still being able to take cash from your credit. Question number 11, how fast can I fix my credit and get funding? So usually to fix your credit and make the comeback of dreams, it'll take a maximum of 12 months unless you're dealing with a fucking idiot. The average turnaround time is anywhere between 3 to 6 months. But if you can make the comeback of dreams and actually get yourself into a perfect credit score or near a perfect credit score, you can get funding within like 24 hours. But let's say if you don't have a perfect credit score and you're down in the gutter, then you can actually get funding in as little as 3 to 6 months. Question number 12, what's the best credit card to start with? Hands down, the best credit card to start with is any Chase Beginner card. A Chase Freedom Flex or a Chase Freedom Unlimited actually works extremely well. Well, you probably see on other outlets that they'll vouch for a Quicksilver card or an Amex card or maybe even a secured card. But honestly, if you can find a way to get into Chase first, I think it is the best bank because not only is it easy, but it's actually extremely valuable because of the quality of the bank. But there's a lot of information behind it, which I don't necessarily really agree with. Some secured cards are good, some aren't. So make sure to to choose the best security card for yourself. Question number 13, can I do this with bad credit or no income? 100%. So the whole point of the credit system is to help people who need money. But the credit system itself, the business model is made to exploit the rich and to exploit the poor. So they're willing to give anybody who makes $0 like $100,000 in credit under the condition that you can pay it back. But in reality, they don't really give a fuck if you don't, because they can just go take anything you own, right? So they're essentially taking printed money, it's credit, and taking anything you own if you don't pay it, or they're making money if you do pay it. So yes, 100%. You can start this with bad credit or no income. Question number 14. What's the safest way to use credit without falling behind? Easy. Treat that shit like a fucking debit card. A lot of people want to use credit and buy shit they can't afford and things that don't make them any money. So if you can't afford it and it doesn't make you any money, you're literally choosing to be in debt forever. So a way to avoid that is to not be a fucking idiot and responsible with your money. Because again, money itself is a tool. But whether it's your money or the bank's money, the goal should be the same. Stack some fucking bread. Question number 15. How much credit can I actually get approved for? You can actually get approved for like $40K in one credit card. It just depends on your comparable credit. Well, the banks check for this thing called comparable credit. They check all your credit card limits and they compare to see what type of limit can they give you based on what other banks have given you as well. So again, if you position yourself correctly, and I broke this down in another video, you can actually get up to $40,000 in one credit card. Question number 16. Will this mess up my credit if I do it wrong? 100%. Every mistake has consequences. If you do it wrong, you will mess up your credit. But on the bright side, you can fix your credit any single time. You can literally fuck up your credit 10 times and make a comeback every single time. It's just gonna be a little harder for you to make the comeback of dreams if you don't know exactly what you're doing. So I don't recommend fucking up your credit, but I also don't recommend beating yourself up in case you did fuck it up, because anybody can make a comeback. But question number 17. What's the difference between personal and business credit? The difference between personal and business credit that you won't see online is personal credit gets reported to your personal credit report. Business credit does not. So if you decide to get a credit card on the business side and it's $10,000 and you racked up $10,000 of debt, creditors on the personal side will not be able to find that debt. So essentially you're hiding your debt on the business side over the personal. So what I like to do is like to rack up all my debt on my business accounts so that way it doesn't report to personal. So when banks come and look at my reports, they don't see how much debt I'm actually in, which is the reason why on my personal side, it looks like I don't use my credit at all. But in reality, I do. I just leverage my personal credit for investments like my real estate business to where I can use it to make even more money. But they won't see the stuff on my business side. Can I get funding even if I have collections or late payments? Tricky question. Some banks will still give you funding, but the problem is there'll be high interest rates. So if you have a really good business that just needs cash, maybe this makes sense for you. But if you're somebody who wants 0%, it's going to be very hard to get funding when you have collection or late payments, because that is an indicator of how risky you are to the banks. So what I recommend doing is to fix that. It'll take anywhere between 3 to 6 months, and you can get right back in the game with 0% interest funding in like 36 months. 19. How do I use credit to start a business or travel for free? Simple. Find a way to make money. People overcomplicate this. Business is not as hard as people think. Go find something that makes money, buy it, sell it, make money, pay back your statements, rinse and repeat, and then you export the rewards and benefits the fucking credit card companies give you. I do this all the time. Like I literally have like what? I'm not even lying to you. For most of you guys watching this, you probably don't believe that I put all my spend on the business side. This is my business account. I have $47,000 in credit debt. With $8,000 and then like another one's like $1,000, right? That's on the business side. So I am using all of this, but I invest my credit into my business. So I racked up, like I mentioned earlier, 642,000 points right now. So what I do with these points is I use these shits to travel for free. I don't use this for like Japan, Colombia, fucking Europe. I'm here in Tennessee right now, just travel this bitch for free, first class. That's what I do. I just rinse and repeat. I use my credit, I invest it into business, I make money, I build credit, the bank's giving me more money, and then I travel for free. So does this not sound easy as shit to do? Because majority of people are complicating it. People are complicating it because they think a lot of it is hard, or they think business itself is hard when it's not hard at all. It's only hard if you choose to to limit the opportunities for yourself. But it's not hard when you actually just put your ass in the fire and you actually start doing things you need to do to get done. Do you know what I mean?
And if you got to the end of the video and I didn't answer any of the questions you guys had originally about credit and debt, then feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I'll be responding to each and every single comment individually. But if you're somebody who is ready to fix their credit, use their credit to build a cash flowing business, and to use their credit to travel the world for free, I made a free Inner Circle mastermind where I'll be sharing everything I know about credit repair, credit funding, travel hacking, all for free. And if you click the email at the bottom of this video, you'll be getting access to a very specific list of where I'll share this info for free. But if that's not all, I'll catch y'all in the next video.